Another weekend, another ho-hum win for the number one ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, who beat UCLA like they stole something, which is what we all thought would happen, and even more so after a significant injury that, well, led to an even more brutal stomping. But let's talk about what we learned from this victory for Ohio State and what there is still left for this team to prove. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching, adapt and respond. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Did you think that Ohio State was going to throw up damn near 50 points on UCLA in a victory? Because I did. I mean, and look, even before Ohio State was going to play UCLA without Nico Iamaleava at quarterback, it felt like it was just going to be what it had been the whole season for this Buckeyes team. They were going to see an unranked opponent and they were going to beat them like they stole something. Now, UCLA had knocked off Penn State and had been something like a good story since firing Deshaun Foster so early in the season. But when you looked at Ohio State's roster and you looked at UCLA's roster, you can see there is a talent advantage on one side of the field. And let me tell you, it ain't with the Bruins, who were coming to the shoe, and we all thought this was going to be Nico at the shoe part 2. Turned out it was not so. He was in concussion protocol, did not get out of that protocol, pass those tests to play. So Luke Duncan got to start, and he was a sacrificial lamb for the number one ranked scoring defense in the country. And you know what? For a first start against that defense, I'm going to say that he played well. 16 of 23 for 154 yards and a TD. And frankly, kind of sort of kept pace with Julian Sayin, who was 23 of 31 for 184 with a TD. Now, neither one of these guys is the same sort of player. One of these guys might win the Heisman Trophy. And I got to tell you, once again, it ain't the guy on the Bruins sideline. For the Buckeyes, the significant part of their offense was Carnell Tate didn't play again, precautionary, which is fine because UCLA is not any good, and you should not need him to beat UCLA handily. Second part of this is Jeremiah Smith got out to a very fast start and made one of them Jeremiah Smith's plays, one of them White Ranger plays that he is wont to do with the one-handed catch. Early in the first half, looked good, had 4 catches for 40 yards, but also came up lame, limping just a little bit, looked like a hammy was pulled near the end of the first half, and then was spotted without his helmet. And, you don't need him there. That's what you got dudes like Mylan Graham for, and Brandon Ennis, and Bryson Rogers. I mean, Quincy Porter. Like, the embarrassment of riches that they have at this wide receiver position has always been kind of comical to me, because at a moment when many players are getting up and leaving, going to play somewhere else, because to be wide receiver number 5 at Ohio State is to be wide receiver 1 almost anywhere else, and yet they stay. And they stay because they want to be what Garrett Wilson identified for himself very very early on when he was being recruited out of Lake Travis in Texas. Like, I get he's from Ohio, but understand this point. He said, I want to go where I'm going to be developed into the kind of man that can play at the NFL for a long time and make a lot of money. So he went to go play for Brian Hartline alongside Chris Olave. And that ends up being a train that has led us to Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jackson Smith and Jigba and Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, Quincy Porter, Mylan Graham, Brandon Ennis. And you can get up and leave. Like, wide receiver 3 at Ohio State was Jamison Williams. He's wide receiver 1 at Bama, and he won the Biletnikoff because they threw him the ball. You're not going to get the ball thrown to you a lot as the third wide receiver. I mean, I didn't even mention Emeka Ibuka, and I'm sure somebody out here yelling about Terry McLaurin, but you know what? First, tell that boy to play a little bit more football, and then we can start talking about what kind of football player he is. The Commanders be doing stuff, but Terry don't seem to be a part of what people are doing down there. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I digress. Point there is, you didn't need to throw the ball all over the yard because we already know you can do that, and that is Ohio State's first mode in 2025, to throw the football. What they needed to show us they could run it, and they did. This was the first game where Ohio State rushed for more than 200 yards against a Power 4 opponent. And that is significant, especially as you're able to do this with players that aren't upperclassmen. Bo Jackson, right? Isaiah West, some James Peoples. We did not see any CJ Donaldson here. Like, they seem to be resting some guys when they could and how they could. and getting guys some run that they wouldn't normally. I really like that. I like that Brian Hartline had been able to do that, that Ryan Day had said he wanted to do that. And you were able to do this against the UCLA team where you didn't turn them over and you didn't sack the quarterback. Now, is that what you want for your defense? Not necessarily, no. But you played outstanding football where you're up 34-0 before they get on the board. But I want to talk a little bit more about what I learned about this Ohio State team that I think is going to carry into the next 2 weeks. And that is just how they might play against Michigan and why they might win that game for the first time in 5 years, because you might remember that they were pretty damn good last year when they lost to Michigan in Columbus, and that game is in Ann Arbor. But just for a moment, I want to talk about where you can watch that game, and it ain't got to be on television. It can be right from, Ann Arbor at Michigan Stadium. And if you would like to do that, perhaps you want to do that with SeatGeek, which is partnered with the show for November. And one of the things that they are doing for us is giving you 10% off if you use SeatGeek to book tickets. And I was scrolling on the phone just earlier before we got to taping, and I saw that Ohio State at Michigan, November 29th, 12 p.m. You can get in the door, section 11, row 95, seat 27 for 324 plus fees, right? Which I thought was pretty damn good. We'll see about giving away the tickets. Not quite sure there. Haven't actually figured out the legal ramifications of such a thing. But I can tell you that I bought Billie Eilish tickets for my friend and her my godddaughters, to go see the concert at the BOK, and it did not go as smoothly as you might want. And yet there was SeatGeek there to back me up. So you use a SeatGeek to connect with a third-party seller. And the third-party seller gets you your tickets 48 hours, 24 hours in advance. But I had not gotten those tickets yet, so I called SeatGeek, and I was on the phone with them 3 times. Second time was basically led to the third time. The same guy was helping me out. His name's Raphael. And Raphael was on it. Like, he was going, look, I already got other tickets picked out for you. They actually were better tickets than the tickets that I bought if this seller falls through it. And that is the guarantee that SeatGeek gives you. So they're going to make you whole if for whatever reason the seller does not come through on their end. And that is the reason to use this app. It is why it has been downloaded so many times. It is that attention to detail. It is trying to make sure you take care of the customer service of the customer. And I need to tell you, this is the journalistic integrity I had here. Nobody at SeatGeek knew that I was doing that I was using the app to buy those tickets. And I did not call in any favors to try to get those tickets done, because I want to be able to talk to you, having a real live experience about what this was. And I was glad that it wasn't smooth, because it ended well. I ended up getting the tickets that I paid for, and I got them in time to transfer them to a mom and 2 daughters who sent me all the pictures and a packed show like 100 of this tour for Billie Eilish. And they'd never seen it. And all 3 of those people, mom and 2 daughters, love that performance. I was able to get that done for them. You can do that for your friends and your family for a game like Ohio State, Michigan, which I think could be pretty cool. I think that could be pretty great. Now, on the other hand, if we see the kind of play that we saw from Ohio State last year, maybe it's not that great for Ohio State fans. Maybe it's great for Michigan fans. But the thing that I think has changed about this Ohio State team that can give them an edge is they're crazily, scarily efficient. They've been outstanding with their drives. They score more points per drive with fewer plays. Like 2022, I think they're running something like 77 plays a game. It's pretty quick. And you'll remember the Ryan Day offense used to be score and score often, score as much as you can. Now it feels like if they go up by 20 points, you're never going to see them again, because of their ability to huddle and to take time. Like, the coach to player comm is working for them the way I thought it would work for everybody else. You don't need to go fast. You don't need to go up there in a formation that somebody can adjust the defense to. You can huddle, and you can take your time, and you can substitute as you need and run more of much what we think of as a pro style offense, because you don't have to show your signals. You can, and you don't have to rely on, did the quarterback pick this up? You can talk in his ear, and you can also say, this is what we're looking for here. I think that's one of the other reasons why Julian Sand has been so lethal at quarterback, completing, up until this game, more than 80% of his passes, looking like he might set the FBS record for completion percentage in his first year as a starter, and perhaps lead this team to another national championship. If they're as efficient as they have been all year, Michigan will not be able to play with them because the defense is better than the one they got at Michigan, and the offense is more talented and better than the one they got at Michigan. The only team that I think can beat Ohio State in that game is Ohio State, and that has happened in at least 2 of the last 3 years. So we will see. But for the time being, the champs be the champs.